Okay, so here we are post long course weekend. My big 1.2 mile swim, 2.4 mile swim, the 112 mile bike the following day, and the full marathon. So by day 2, I didn't think I could do day 3. And I was very concerned about cut-off times, and I was exhausted, and I have to say I just really stopped enjoying it, truth be told. I was ready to jack in everything. The marathon, the Ironman, the whole lot, which isn't really a surprise. But a few days later, and I've reflected on it all, and I'm going to try for the Ironman. I don't know if I can do it. I know it's very, very hard. I really don't know if it's even possible, but I'm going to turn up on that start line and I'll give it a shot. So these are my super cool medals that I got, and they all fit together. They're from long course weekend, and they made a right fuss of anyone who finished. There was like about 650 people entered the whole long course weekend, those 3 long events. And only 238 odd actually got every single one. And only 50 women. So I feel like I'm special, even though I'm not really, but hey, let's just keep the feeling. There's my marathon finish and my bike finish, and they fit really together nicely like that. Then I've got here, that's my swim finish. So you put them together, super cool. And then you get the final piece, which is the one you get when you actually complete the whole thing. So there you go. How cool is that? Like a really nice little set that they give you, and they get you walking down the red carpet and everybody claps you. Feel really hard. Not. But I did feel a bit emotional, I have to say. So now that I have achieved that, and thank goodness I did, because I think if I had not achieved that, I think approaching Ironman would have been even more difficult, without having the confidence that you could do it. I did the whole thing in just under 16 hours, which, 17-hour cut-off time in Ironman. I've got to do swim in 2 hours 20. That's not too bad. I did the swim at long course in 1 hour 40. My hands got really cold. It was quite a calm day, so I was lucky with the swim. Depends on the day whether it's going to be choppy or not. If it's choppy, I'll need the full 2 hours 20. They're also swimming it the other direction this year for some reason. So with long course weekend, it's all done in the same place in Tenby, and I'm swimming the opposite direction. I was looking at the map, and I was thinking that maybe actually it might be slightly quicker because of the way the water is kind of coming in, perhaps. With the bike I can cut quite a lot of time off, I reckon, by not having as many stops and to just keeping going. I think that's going to be quite, I guess, tough after the swim because my hands get really cold. But you get 10 hours to do the swim and the bike, I think it is. Is it 10 hours? So that means I have to take off, 2 hours, say, for the swim. I've got 8 hours to do the bike. Now I did the bike in 9 hours in Tenby at the long course weekend. So I got to get an hour off that from somewhere. And I wasn't going slow at long course. So this is going to be a challenge, making the bike cut off. Then if I make the bike cut off, I then go to do the marathon. And I've got, what's that? To do the marathon, so 17 hours. So I get another 7 hours for that. Actually, it might be 11 hours for the bike. I've got to have a little look. Anyway, so I've got 7 hours or 6 hours, whatever it is that I have, because I finished the bike. The hills for the marathon are slightly different to long course. Apparently we do 3-4 loops, but this is again very, very hilly. The hills were hills. It was literally, well, they say rolling. It wasn't really rolling. It is uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. But you learn to use the hills actually. So for the bike, you're just going to be slow up the hill, but you're going to fly down it. So counterbalances it. For the marathon, you're so exhausted by the time you get to the marathon, you walk up the hill, as long as it is a hill and not just a slight incline, because there's lots of slight inclines and you just got to run that and get on with it. But then you get the gravity going down the hill, so you can be faster. So you basically got to use the downhill. And just towards the last 5-6 miles, my legs were just going, but I did it. So maybe I can do the Ironman. I think it is going to be tight. I've got a training program. It's 2 months to go to Tenby, Wales Ironman. So I'm exhausted now. My watch says I'm on body battery 1. I can barely walk, which I've put a little film of that as well. I've got the whole of this week pretty much off, just doing a few gym bits and nothing strenuous. And then next week I start like building up again. And I've got a mimic. I've got a few triathlons, like even if they're sort of mimic triathlons going on over the weekends, I've got to work a lot during the day. So it's difficult for me to get the sustained time I need to train. But things that are coming up are, I think, not this weekend, but the following weekend, I've got like 12 miles run on the Saturday. Then I've got like a 60-mile bike on the Sunday. I'm going to try and switch that round so that it's mimicking the run, the bike, then the run. And then the following week, I've entered into Centurion, the Mumbles. And so I'm going to do a mimic of the Centurion event, so 2K swim one day, 80 miles on the bike the next day, half marathon the next day, and then the following week I'm going to do slightly less for the Centurion, and then I think I'm building up to about 10 days before. I think I do the full distance swim, followed by the next day doing 75 miles on the bike, followed by an 18-mile run. So that is going to be a toughie for me. Actually, that's about 3 weeks before. And then the week or week and a half, 2 weeks before, I'll do 50 miles on the bike, followed by a 10-mile run with the swim distance the previous day. And that's about as hard as it gets. I'm saying as hard as it gets. That's hard, of course, doing 75 miles on the bike and then an 18-mile run on a training run. I mean, I can do it in a manageable distance, so that's quite good. But manageable speed. But the distance is long. When of course I hit Ironman, I'm just going to have to go for it, pull it out of the bag, and go as fast as I can. Really, I've got some work events in there in the next couple of months as well, so I'm going to be really trying to squash things in. But I'm nearly there. There'll be taper in the last 10 days, so I've just got to kind of work hard for the last bit, make sure I'm getting in the gym as well to do my strength and conditioning, because that really kept me strong for long course weekend. Like before then, maybe about 2 months beforehand, I had problems with my knee and my hip and my shoulder. I started doing weights and I got a bit of advice on the kind of weights I needed to lift, and I was doing squatting and all sorts in the gym only twice a week. Completely sorted out my hip, my knee, my shoulder, and I'm going to carry on doing that because it really holds me together. So that's fantastic. So how do I feel about Ironman? Pretty terrified, I'd say. Do I think I can do it? Not really sure. It's more achievable, I suppose, slightly. But, how am I going to knock a whole hour off my bike? Whole hour? I mean, that's quite a lot. I'm going to be tight on the bike. If I make it to the run, then maybe I'll be all right. But, I can only just get on that start line and see. And if I don't finish, I don't finish. I gave it a good shot, right? You can't blame me for trying. I'd also like to say that I am raising money for World Wildlife Fund. And I will pop a link into the little bar below. It'd be great if I could have a donation to them, and I'm going to be talking a bit more about that as I go along my journey. Only 2 months to go. Thanks.